We all have a why. Why do we get out of bed in the morning? Why do we struggle? Why do we love? Why do we choose the job we have? Why do we surround ourselves with certain types of people? Why do we act the way we do? Why do certain things make some people angry, but not others? Why do we value what we value? Hi, my name is Jim Casey, and I've always struggled with my why. I've lived it, and I've fought with it, but I could never, ever define it. I never even realized I needed to define it. My why has given me success, and my why has given me heartache. It has made me leave wildly successful jobs, and it's been there in my darkest times to give me solace. My why has shaped every aspect of my life, and I never even knew it. Our why is shaped, defined, and created by our life experiences and the experiences of those close to us. My parents were married in high school because of me. They were kids, and their marriage went through all the problems of kids growing into adults while trying to raise kids of their own. They divorced when I was 10. As I grew into adulthood, my life, to say the least, was tumultuous. I had every opportunity to wander off into any number of distractions, and I did. The odds were very much against me finding success. But no matter how far I wandered, I had one steadying force. Her gravity always held me in a stable orbit. She used to tell me, "Jimmy, time goes by no matter what you do, so you might as well be doing something productive." My grandmother, Anna Casey, never graduated from high school. She was 4 foot 10 inches tall, with white hair and a kind face. Born near the turn of the 20th century, she went to work in the factories as a young child. I remember her smile as she told me how she would hide inside an empty drum when the inspectors came, and how she was happy to earn money to help her family. She told me that my grandfather was one of the fortunate men to keep his job in the factory during the Great Depression, and how she would prepare large pots of food for the families in the neighborhood. Everyone shared, everyone took care of each other. Her house always smelled of food. I remember noodles drying all over the dining room table. And pies, my favorite was blueberry, always baking in the oven. I remember standing on the hump of the floor of her car, it was a Dodge Dart, holding onto the front seats as we drove to the church to drop off food for others. I remember the line for her funeral, stretching outside into the snow and around the block for people to pay their respects. I've had a very successful career as a medical negligence lawyer. I've been involved in cases over my 25 years with a value in excess of $500 million. But up until the end of last year, 2018, I never understood why I worked so hard. In October 2018, right at the end, at the age of 54, I had a heart attack. 3 main arteries in my heart were blocked, 80, 90, and 100%. After my surgery, my family was worried about me. They wanted me to move away from my job, to find something else to pursue, something less stressful. Instead, I was back in the office 2 weeks after surgery, flying cross-country to take depositions of experts and strategizing a trial that would last a month for a boy who lost his leg at age 10. Instead of resting, I jumped right back into the fire. After we resolved the case, so many whys bothered me. Why did I put my family through so much worry? Why did I have to go right back to work? Why did I need to keep going in a job that bombarded me with conflict and pain and sorrow? Why couldn't I just do something else? I rationalized. Well, my doctor had cleared me to work. I'd not lost any heart function. But was this really why I kept pushing? I remembered a TED Talk from a man named Simon Sinek about the most successful companies and how they start with why. I watched the talk again and thought to myself, hey, if the most successful companies start with why, shouldn't individuals also start with why in their life choices? Do people start with why? I found a Nietzsche quote as I was searching online, and it says, "He who has a why can endure any how." Do I have a why? What is it? How do I define it? I bought Mr. Sinek's book, Find Your Why. I'm sure I'm not going to get the process all correct here, so I'll link the book below. What I found was a roadmap for how to find my why. I sat down with a piece of paper and I drew a horizontal line across the page. The left side of the line represented my childhood and the right side represented now. So I started in childhood and I thought of the stories, both positive and negative, that affected me the most. I put the positives above the line and the negatives below. Next, I asked someone I trusted to meet and go through the stories. They helped me find emerging patterns in my life experiences that pointed to my why. It was kind of like finding the arrow in the Tedx logo for the first time. Once you see it, it's obvious and you can't unsee it. I learned that everything that important in my life started with Anna Casey. I'm not saying she was responsible for it all, but that's where it started. Anna Casey lived to make things better. Better for her family, better for her community, and better even for people she didn't know. My stories, both good and bad, centered around making things better. My good stories involved times when things were made better. And my bad stories, they centered around people who didn't want to make things better or actually wanted to make things worse. I realized, I learned, I found my why. I inherited an unrelenting need to make things better. A 20th century theologian named William Barclay, and he once said, "There are two great days in a person's life, the day we're born and the day we discover why." I don't agree that we only have two great days, but what I can tell you is that one of mine was the day that I discovered my why. My job provides me an opportunity to help make things better. Medical negligence clients have endured senseless tragedy, yet they don't come looking for money. They come looking for answers. They come with a desire to make things better so that others don't go through the same pain they've endured. And over the course of my 25 plus years as a lawyer, I've met remarkable people who've stood up to some of the most powerful institutions in their communities and made healthcare better for us all. After I got sick, I couldn't go do something else because my why is the same as the why of my clients. I found a job where my why is in perfect balance with the people that I'm working for. It's not that I wanted to come back. I needed to come back. If you think about it, there's someone in your childhood that helped create your why. Some experience with some person that formed the first embers of the fire that made each of us who we are. Reflecting on the stories of my life, I learned that when my why is in balance with what I do and how I do it, I'm happy. And when it's not, I'm not. I know that I'm incredibly fortunate to have found a job where my why is in balance with the people that I serve. Lots of people aren't that fortunate. They struggle in jobs where their why is in conflict every time they go to work and every day with their clients or their coworkers. What I can tell those people is that while my why is in balance with my clients, it has not always been in balance with my coworkers or my partners. In the past, with my why in conflict, I would hold things in until they built up so much that something small would make me lash out and get into arguments. Now I can see when my why is in conflict with people around me. This has let me be more calm and more rational in my response to events, and has led to much less conflict and much less pain for me. Even in success, I used to feel more relief than joy when I had a job that was well done. Now, I've been able to see why things make me happy. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend going through the process of finding your why. It may help you connect the dots of your stories the way it did for me. I'm making these videos to share my journey, to show how in my experience our why shapes everything in our lives, whether we want it to or not. I hope the people who watch this take something away that will help them in their journey. And I'll be putting these videos out on a regular basis. You can find them here on this channel, or you can find a link to them at our website at kcinjury.com. Thank you so much for watching, and be well.